A few in the comments section of my recent videos have been making the argument that objective morality can't exist because if it did, there'd be a lot more agreement on it. We'd have some sort of consensus on it. Now, I think we'd need to separate out the theistic among us because they actually do accept objective morality on their own basis. But in the secular community, the argument is, you know, if objective morality existed, at least a good portion of the population would sort of agree on it and accept it. And if you guys are going to keep making that argument, then I'm just going to make the argument that since everyone kind of universalizes their language, right? They use these truth statement type value judgments when they talk about things, that is wrong, that is immoral, then obviously objective morality does exist. In other words, it's a bad argument. And getting back to the language, I think it's really important to just sort of hone in on the language a little bit more for a moment. Because, and again, I wish that I had made some videos on some more contentious issues in the past. And I would have actually a lot more data to show the kind of language that people use. You know, hopefully the self-same people that would have commented on those and told me how wrong I am and how wrong these concepts are would be commenting on these videos about secular morality and saying there's actually no objective right or wrong. I think that would actually be very, very helpful and instructive for this discussion. And I think, several have said in the videos that, it goes without saying, it's just my opinion. It doesn't go without saying. You are making universal type truth statements when you say that is immoral, that guy is immoral. As Draken said, so by what standard do you call someone immoral? Unless you say, well, it's just my opinion that that guy's immoral, but you're not doing that, right? I mean, if you say that guy's immoral, well, okay, I think you're immoral. Well, I think you're a pelican. Okay, so what, right? You're making a truth claim. You're making a value judgment that is you're attempting to universalize by stating it so simply and so succinctly. And I think if you really think about it, when it comes to subjective morality, I think there's a reason why you're universalizing that term. You're making a universal truth claim when you say that is wrong. And that is to say it is my opinion that that is wrong is to sort of admit the impotence of that statement, right? You're one person, so what, right? If that's truly just your opinion and there's no objective value there, you're no more expressing anything than a preference for something. You're not making an actual objective, universal truth claim about that if you truly are just expressing a preference. And so if you don't say it is my opinion, then really what you're attempting to do is cloak your preference in objective universal speak. Which really, if you think about it, is kind of dishonest. You expose the impotence of it being simply your belief, if there is no objective right or wrong there. And then, of course, if we carry that a step further, that means the only way that you can have your particular preferences universalized is to hope to be part of some sort of brute force majority, right? And again, this is going to cause some dissonance if you also hold the premise to be true that mob rule is immoral, which I think most of us do, or we should, or I don't think we've evolved that far. Now, having said all that, I'm actually working on a theory up in here because a lot of people have asked me to be careful about definitions and to clarify what I actually mean by objective morality. And some of the comments have illustrated for me a misinterpretation of what I'm saying, obviously necessitating the need to be very, very careful about the definition. One of the comments had something to do with saying that what you're attempting to do here is find a secular replacement for theistic morality. In other words, something that exists whether we do or not. And that's not the case. I'm not trying to do that. So that illustrates the need for me to be very clear about what I mean by objective morality. Maybe objective morality is not the correct term for what I mean. Because certainly I think morality is subjective in that it depends on there being anyone, any moral agent, right? Without us, without moral agency, there is no morality. So I don't think it exists in the universe, in reality, independent of us. I think if we were all wiped out and the universe continued on, it would continue on without morality because there'd be no moral agents. But the objectivity that I'm speaking of is I don't think that the values themselves, the value judgments themselves, reside within the individual necessarily, the actual values. I think the values can be objectified based on some empirical and rational and scientific bases. And so that's what I mean, and I'm developing that currently. So bear with me before I sort of come out and make a definitive statement on what I actually mean, but hopefully that helps, because maybe that's where I'm getting a lot of the resistance, is just an interpretation that what I mean is that there's a property of the universe that is morality, and then we pop into existence and need to abide by it like we do gravity or something. And I'm not saying that. I do accept that it probably is an emergent property, as Brascafarian and Deep Ashtray and Bonnie from the UK have said, of societies, essentially of moral agency. So hopefully that helps just a little bit. Let me know what you think on that. And once again, as always, I just extremely appreciate all of the exchange taking place in the comments section. I think this is a great conversation. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Thanks for watching. So,